Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 33rd presentation, that's a third of a century, of the prestigious Henry G. Stifel III Award. This is one of my favorite assemblies every year. We are honored to have Henry with us today. Thank you for joining us, Henry. For those of you who are new to this ceremony, Henry is a Pingree lifer and a member of the class of 1983. During his junior year at Pingree, Henry was in a tragic car accident that left him with quadriplegia at the age of 17. In the face of this tragedy, Henry displayed incredible strength of character. He is a leader in the Pingree community and beyond, and in many ways embodies the best qualities to which a Pingree alumnus can aspire. Henry graduated from the College of William and Mary and works at Morgan Stanley. He served 9 years on Pingree's Board of Trustees, where he chaired the Development Committee, and worked with the Buildings and Grounds Committee as well as the Campaign Steering Committee. In 2015, he was awarded the Cyril and Beatrice Baldwin Family Citizen of the Year Award, which recognizes those outstanding and meritorious contributions that have enriched the Pingree community. And in 2017, he was awarded Pingree's Letter in Life Award, which is the highest award tendered by the school to an alumnus, and which recognizes those who have earned distinction and brought honor to themselves and Pingree. No less prestigious is this award, which is supported by Henry and his family and which bears his name. Henry, as always, we remain grateful for your generosity, your leadership, and your tireless effort on behalf of the Pingree School, and we are especially grateful for this award, which affords us an opportunity to recognize members of our community in this meaningful way. I would like to introduce George Sullivan, who will present this year's award recipient. George.
Good morning. This morning, I have the honor and privilege of presenting this year's Stifel Award. As a wrestling coach, I spend a lot of time thinking about how to coach my athletes to overcome adversity. We all know that as in life, the adversity we face in sports can take many forms. Some of these difficulties that we face are obvious. Some of them are more subtle. But each carries with it a choice to be diminished by it or to rise above what you or others thought was possible. Both in sports and in life, it's not the challenges themselves, but rather our response to these challenges that will ultimately come to define who we are and what we will accomplish in our lives. I'm standing on the stage before you to honor the courage, resilience, and passion that Jack Lyons displayed in responding to the challenges he faced as a result of a genetic condition by proving himself as the ultimate teammate and competitor over the last 4 years. Multiple epiphyseal dysplasia is a disorder of cartilage and bone development that primarily affects the ends of the long bones in the arms and legs. For Jack, this means that he has weakened cartilage in his knees and elbows. Indeed, at this point, the cartilage in Jack's knees and elbows is effectively gone. As a result of this, not only are Jack's joints particularly susceptible to injury, but his ability to recover from damage to his ligaments and tendons is severely inhibited by restricted blood flow caused by the disease. Most people, knowing what Jack knows about his body, would simply have resigned themselves to the reality that playing competitive sports wasn't going to be an option for them. In fact, given the physical nature of wrestling in particular and the stress that it places on joints, it's reasonable to say that engaging in this sport borders on the limit between recklessness and courage. And yet, this liminal space between optimism and folly is the tightrope along which Jack has been walking for the last 4 years, as he has courageously followed his passion for wrestling, disregarding conventional wisdom. Indeed, Jack's path has not been without setbacks. After placing 4th in the district tournament his sophomore year, Jack tore his ACL, MCL, and lateral meniscus while at a training camp at West Point. Knowing how challenging the rehabilitation of this injury was going to be as a result of his condition, and that it may not, in fact, ever recover at all, it would have been sensible for Jack to give up. He'd had to give up on other sports before. Growing up, Jack played lacrosse and flag football and a host of other sports that he grew to love. Yet each had fallen away as injuries, pain, and joint stiffness took their toll on his passion for each of these games. The legitimate reasons to quit were too obvious, too reasonable to ignore. It's fair to say that running is a qualifying ability for these sports, and Jack's knees simply weren't able to hold up to their end of the bargain. But something in Jack's mind had had enough between those early years and his sophomore summer. He was done with quitting. So he didn't give up, but rather began the slow process of rebuilding his knee. As he was rehabbing and nearing recovery, Jack experienced another setback. He snapped a ligament in his elbow performing mundane weight training in the gym during his junior year. Another easy excuse to fall back upon, another reason to quit. But Jack still didn't have it in him to quit, or rather, he had something in him that would not let him quit. Perhaps it was his love of wrestling, perhaps it was his dogged optimism, or perhaps it was the commitment that he felt that he had made to his teammates. After all, from the moment that Jack had first torn his ACL, he had been driven to do everything he could to help the team. He attended every practice, effectively serving as a coach and mentor to the younger wrestlers, and trained every day to remain as strong and fit as possible as he rehabilitated his injuries. His commitment earned such respect from his teammates that he was voted a captain of the team for his senior year, in spite of the fact that he had not stepped on the mat in a competitive role once during his junior season. And after having miraculously rehabilitated his injuries, in spite of this condition, and trained relentlessly for almost 18 months, Jack finally was ready to fulfill his dream of competing once again in his senior season. Jack has always loved wrestling. He has always been an aggressive competitor, ready to get after it and take it to his opponent. But Jack's senior season was different. It was as if the months he'd spent dreaming of his return to the mat had branded into his mind the imperative to make the most of the time he had available to him. His relentless passion for competition earned him a second-place finish at our opening tournament and a strong start to the season. More importantly, however, Jack's leadership and sense of urgency was contagious. Seeing how Jack wrestled, both in matches and in practice, helped to show his teammates how precious each moment of practice and competition was to him, and helped to inspire similar commitment on their part. After Jack devastatingly tore the ACL in his other knee over winter break competing against an eventual region qualifier, his infectious passion and unbridled team spirit were never diminished. Naturally, Jack wanted to throw on a brace and finish his senior season, not wanting his career to be ended by yet another injury, his legacy left unfulfilled. Yet the truth is that Jack had already left an impression on his teammates, the wrestling community, and his coaches that will never be forgotten and never stop inspiring them. His legacy had long ago been cemented. We all have our demons. We all have times when we get pushed down or told that we won't be able to follow our dreams. But if we can each inspire in each other the courage, optimism, passion, and spirit that Jack has displayed in his time at Pingree, it's hard to imagine a limit to what we could accomplish as a community. I ask that you join me in celebrating Jack's resilience and honoring him with this year's Stifel Award.
You know, you'd probably think a theater kid would be a little less nervous, right? But no. All right. First of all, thank you, Coach Sullivan. Thanks to everyone on the wrestling team, coaches and all. You know, Coach Sullivan, Coach Vachani, Coach Pritchett, Coach Lagarde, and Coach Dunn. You guys made me the person I am today. You guys made me the wrestler I am today, and the leader I am today, and that'll never leave me. So thank you. I'd also like to thank my mom for nursing my wounds and bumps and bruises when I got beat up on or off the mat, and my father, who has consistently reminded me that whenever I got hurt or suffered that loss, not to feel bad for myself, and to never take my eyes off the goal that lie in front of me. This award isn't for somebody who just had something unfortunate happen to them. It's not for somebody who simply had a bad luck of the draw. No, this award is named after and created because of a Pingree student, just like you and me, who suffered an enormous setback and didn't let it get in his way of his success and his journey. A man that suffered something that I don't know if any of us in this room here today could recover from and could attain the highest runs of success in their career and remember where they came from, this school, this community, and come back to it year after year and give to it year after year. Mr. Stifel showed something in the face of his adversity that doesn't get expressed so often in our relatively comfortable lives here at Pingree. He showed resilience. That is a trait just as important as excellence and honor, and it is something that I strive to embody every day. I strive towards resilience, as we all should, because we all have to sleep at night knowing our own shortcomings, times we cheated ourselves, flaked out of opportunities, and folded when the going got tough. Because the fact of the matter is that if each one of us here today were to say, get on a plane and go to the other side of the world and leave everybody that we knew and all the people that knew our own failures and blunders aside, and we were to be by ourselves, have a fresh start, we would never truly be able to get rid of the fact that we made mistakes, that we didn't seize opportunities, that we found an easy way out. That lives with each and every single one of us, and that is a weight and burden heavier than most. Now, imagine a school, a community, where success in and of itself wasn't prized as much as the blood, was prized way less actually, than the blood, sweat, and tears it took to achieve it. Imagine that community, realize that community, each and every one of us, and you will have a school to be proud of. With that being said, I want to thank you all for your time and attention, and give my deepest thanks to Mr. Henry Stifel.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Jack, and congratulations, Jack. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Henry Stifel. Please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you, Mr. Conard. I actually just want to take a quick moment to say how grateful I am to you, actually, Mr. Conard, for all of your years of support and leadership of the Pingree community, and helping to shepherd this recognition as well for all of your years. When I think back on the time that I served on the board, it was really a great time for me, and I'm in complete awe of your leadership and what you were able to accomplish during your tenure. What you're leaving this school is such a positive effect for generations to come. And I just want to thank you, my friend, for everything that you've done for this Pingree community, this Pingree family. And you will be very missed, but I know you won't be very far away. So, anyway. Jack, unbelievable. I am so thrilled and incredibly honored to be here to recognize you today. Your story is truly inspiring, and your impact on this community is unmeasurable. I know it's not easy to be up here on this stage in front of your peers, but it's this community, the students, the faculty, staff, your family, that have asked you to allow us to recognize your spirit and tenacity to thrive in the face of unpredictable adversity. And you are truly incredible to be willing to accept this recognition. We honor your ability to raise yourself above these challenges, redefine how you embrace your love of sport, and become a leader for your teammates and the community at large. Jack, you stand as a shining example of an individual who dug deep, found the inner strength to confront a difficult situation and turn a negative into a positive. Your own personal transformation has turned you into a a leader that many in this school look up to and recognize today. You've really set the example through your actions that we all admire and can learn from. These traits will benefit you for your entire life as you continue to reach for goals that today might seem unattainable. As a result, your impact on this community is greater than you can ever imagine, and this is why we all recognize you today. So thank you. The greatest challenges we face as individuals, I feel, is to remove the paralysis within us that holds us back from going outside of our comfort zone and taking on unpredictable challenges in order to make a difference. It can be challenging, confusing, and incredibly overwhelming after you decide to take on a task that you feel might be unattainable. But it's those moments in life that define you as an individual. Think of Jack and how difficult it was for him to understand his condition and turn it into a positive. Just confronting difficult challenges strengthens our character and enhances our community. I'm not just talking about physical challenges, but rather I'm talking about everyday challenges that one needs to consider embracing. Goals like trying something different, or taking a stand on a topic in order to evoke change. Challenge yourself. Dream big and try to make a difference. I know taking that first step is always the most difficult, but if everyone chose to walk away, you would never realize your full potential. Nothing meaningful ever comes to anyone without a little bit of courage, persistence, optimism, and determination. Being bold and embracing something different will allow you to understand yourself better. It's really what this award stands to represent. So we are here today to honor Jack, but please leave today with a commitment to yourself to follow Jack's example and dig deep. Find that inner strength and clarity and confront your fears. Try something different. Assume a leadership position. Lead by example. You will raise the spirits of so many, just as Jack has done for this community. We've learned throughout life the years of so many individuals like this. Think of it, our founding fathers, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Rosa Parks, and many more. We would not be anywhere as a society if it were not for their courage, optimism, and grace. What they faced, many thought to be overwhelming, but they dreamed, and they dreamed big, and with persistence, courage, confidence, optimism, and determination, they knew they could make a difference. What seemed unattainable and incredibly overwhelming was turned into the courage necessary to take control and make a difference. This was their common traits. So embrace an issue that you're passionate about and strive to improve an outcome. It could be a political stand, a medical condition, improving a community, or just supporting a person who doesn't have a voice. You can make a difference. It starts with one person's dreams and actions that lead to a level of support, which creates a movement that, with perseverance and determination, allow these dreams to become reality. This country is not short of injustices, so there's plenty for you all to do. You just need to dream big and keep at it, just as Jack is doing every day. So again, thank you, Jack, for allowing us to recognize your willingness to never give up and your determination to improve your life in the face of extreme challenges. You are an incredible example of perseverance and determination. Your persistence has turned you into a great leader and has set an example for all of us to live by. So please accept this recognition as our thanks to you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Henry, for sharing your thoughts, your insights with us. Thank you for sharing your own inspiring role modeling with us. Over 35 years of modeling for us, and Jack, thank you for inspiring us today. And of course, congratulations on receiving the Stifel Award. Thank you all for joining us today to honor Jack. I hope that you are inspired by today's assembly. I hope that you go forward taking the messages from George and Jack and Henry to heart and use them to help shape your own approach as you walk out the doors and into the rest of your lives. At this point, I'd like to invite Jack's family up here to the front for photos, and afterwards I'd like to invite the family and faculty members to join us for a small reception in the multipurpose room 305B. Thank you, everyone. You are dismissed.